Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Introduction.
Yeah.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha.
Mataji.
Mataji.
Yeah, it's 7:17 Mataji.
Cha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for attending this session today. This is Padma from Virginia, welcoming all of you to the Bhakti Sanga conference call. Please forgive me for interrupting your ecstatic chanting. I would like to read the 10 offenses to the holy names, which are to be avoided by, which are told in the Padma Purana and which are to be avoided. Sorry. To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives to the propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2, to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of the Lord Vishnu. 3, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. 4, to blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance to the Vedic version. 5, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. 6, to give some interpretations to the holy name of the Lord. 7, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. 8, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in Vedas as fruitive activities, karma kanda. To instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success of Krishna Prema. Let's move on to the next session. Dear devotees, thank you very much for joining the call today. Should we do introductions? Prabhuji is already there, so I go ahead with introduction.
Mataji, Prabhuji had joined. Yeah, Mataji, Prabhuji had joined.
So should we go ahead with the just introduction of Prabhuji and then go ahead, Mataji? Hare Krishna, Prabhuji,
No,
please
no,
accept my
Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for giving your valuable time and association this morning to enlighten us in the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam.
You can take over the call.
Please.
Prabhuji can take over the call.
Please take over the call, Prabhuji. Sorry, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.
Thank you. I'm very grateful for this opportunity to serve. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padikamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. We are discussing from Canto 7, Chapter 6, which is entitled Prahlad Instructs His Demoniac Classmates, Schoolmates. And today we will be discussing verse number 8. Dura purena kamena mohena cha baliyasa shesham griheshu saktasya paramatasya payatihi. Translation: one whose mind and senses are uncontrolled becomes increasingly attached to family life because of insatiable lusty desires and very strong illusion. In such a madman's life, the remaining years are also wasted because even during those years, he cannot engage himself in devotional service. Purport: this is an account of 100 years of life. Although in this age, a lifetime of 100 years is generally not possible. Even if one has 100 years, the calculation is that 50 years are wasted in sleeping, 20 years in childhood and boyhood, 20 years in invalidity, jara vyadhi. This leaves only a few more years. But because of too much attachment to household life, those years are also spent with no purpose, without God consciousness. Therefore, one should be trained to be a perfect brahmachari in the beginning of the life, and then to be perfect in sense control, following the regulative principles, if one becomes a householder. From household life, one is ordered to accept vanaprastha life and go to forest and then accept sannyas. That is the perfection of life. From the beginning of life, very beginning of life, those who are ajitendriya, who cannot control their senses, are educated only for sense gratification, as we have seen in the Western countries. Thus, the entire duration of a life of even 100 years is wasted and misused. Thus, at the time of death, one transmigrates to another body, which may not be human. At the end of 100 years, one who has not acted as a human being in the life of tapasya, austerity, and penance, must certainly be embodied again in a body like those of cats, dogs, and hogs. Therefore, this life of lusty desires and sense gratification is extremely risky. Hare Krishna. This is a very, very wonderful and full of instructions. This chapter, Prahlad Maharaj, he is such a wonderful enthusiastic, empowered preacher of Krishna consciousness. Although he went through so much in his life, but still, he is not thinking, well, I will continue my devotional service. Why should I trouble myself? Why should I tell this to anyone? I'll just practice on my own. That is a devotee. That is a person who has imbibed this philosophy, and he cannot but preach. We have three principles in Krishna consciousness: Namaruchi, Jivadaya, and Vaishnav Seva. Vaishnav Seva, okay, we do because we have heard, we know that it really helps us. We get benefited by it. This principle of Jivadaya, this actually comes from a heart which is full of Krishna. In our conditioned state, we preach because we are told to do preaching. We go and do programs and cultivate people. But many times our desire to preach is not because of genuine compassion for people in general. It is because of the instructions we have heard. But the more one becomes purified, the more one actually develops an intense desire to preach. And that's what Prahlad Maharaj is showing in this chapter. He is giving instructions to his classmates. Although he went through so much in life, he was about to be killed. In so many ways, Hiranyakashipu tried to kill him. The Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he writes a beautiful bhajan. In that he says, Kabi Navadvipe Suradhuni Tate Gaur Nityananda Boli Nishkapate Nachiya Gaiya Birai Bo Chute Batulera Praya Chadiya Vichar Kabe Habe Bolo Se Dinam Kabe Jivadaya Hui Beudaya निज सुख भूली सुदिना हृदय भक्ति विनोद कोरिया विनय श्रिया ज्ञातहल कोरिते प्रचार. In this prayers, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, when will genuine compassion arise in my heart? When will I not consider anything about my own self? Nij sukh bhuli sudina hriday. When will my heart be full of compassion? When will I preach this message of Krishna consciousness without any obstacles? That's what Prahlad is doing. Prahlad Maharaj, for him, it is his natural outpouring of a heart which is full of Krishna. Of course, till the time we don't reach that stage, still we should continue to preach as an order. All our activities of sadhana bhakti, they should be done as an order. Because we may not have the taste to do it, we may not have genuine feelings to do it, but still we should do it. This is the instruction. Amara agya guru huiya tar vehi desh, pyar dekho tar kaho Krishna upadesh. One devotee was sharing that when we preach, we don't just give information. We give our realizations. We share our happiness. We share our joy of Krishna consciousness. That is what we are doing when we are preaching, not just information. That is just one part of our preaching activity. So devotees, preachers, just like Prahlad Maharaj, we should fill ourselves with Krishna so that we cannot but preach. Because a person who is full of something, naturally it overflows. If a glass is full of nectar and more is poured, naturally it will overflow. That is a preacher. He's full of nectar of Krishna, nectar of Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Satamayam sarabhritam nisargo yadarthavani shruti chetasamapi pratikshanam navyavadachyutasya yat striya vitanam iva sadhu varta. The devotees, they are seekers of essence. They take on essence from wherever it is available. And naturally, when we are full of something, we like to give it to others. That's what Prahlad is doing here. He's full of Krishna. Krishna graha grihitatma. He is full of Krishna. Nyasta kridanako balo jadvat tanmanastaya. Krishna graha grihitatma naved jagadidrisham. A devotee cannot but share Krishna katha. That is how natural it is for a devotee to do that. And specifically in this verse, Prahlad Maharaj is describing the qualities, the activities of a person living in this world. How we spend our day, how we spend our nights. There's a beautiful Subhashit which says, Pratah dvyut prasangena madhyan stri prasangat ratrau chaura prasangena kalau gacchati dhimata. This is a very interesting one. In the morning, a sober person begins his day. Pratah dyut prasangena. He begins his day by discussing and hearing about gambling. Madhyan stri prasangat. In the afternoon, you should discuss about the topics of ladies, women. And in the evening, ratrav chaur prasangena. In the evening, we should hear about thieves and dacoits. In this way, a sober person spends his day and night. Can anyone tell me what this indicates? How it relates to a spiritual practitioner? It looks like a very material, mundane person. Gambling, then women, then thieves, and all money. And what is this? All that. How a person should spend his day or her day. One should begin the day, yes. Okay, that you're saying. Mahabharata in the morning, Ramayana in the afternoon, and Krishna Katha in the evening time. In the morning time, Dyuta Prasangena. Where is Dyuta mentioned? In the Mahabharata, the gambling match. Mahabharata tells us how to live in this world. Dharma, Artha, Kama. That is how a person begins, because now he has to work. He has to go out on his livelihood. Then Ramayana describes what are the dangers of distraction. As we are working a spiritual practitioner, how one should be very, very careful. How one should be very careful of not hearing wrong about others. Ramayana is full of that. It began with Kaikai getting spoiled by Manthara, a lady in the beginning. In the middle, Shurpanakha came and she wanted to kill Sita. And then her nose, ENT surgery was done. And then in the end, Mother Sita, she went in the Mother Earth. So Ramayana describes how to protect ourselves as a spiritual practitioner, what we should do, what we should not do, how we should be careful about getting distracted, not getting distracted, how the illusory nature of the world distracts us. The modern media and the modern advertising industry, it is like Shurpanakha. What Shurpanakha did, she went and glorified the beauty of Sita. That's what the media is doing. That's what the advertising industry is doing. inflaming our material desires. We should be very careful because while working, all these temptations will come. And in the evening, end the day by hearing the beautiful, loving pastimes of Krishna. That's why Srila Prabhupada would tell, before going to bed, we should read Krishna book. Yasyananam makara kundala charu karna bhrajat kapola subhaga savilas hasam nityotsavam nata tripo drishibhi pibantyo naryo narashamudita kupita nimeshcha. This verse comes in the 9th canto, one of the last 24th chapter, 24th or something. As Krishna is entering Mathura, all the ladies of Mathura, all the people of Mathura, they are amazed to see the beauty of Krishna. Makar Kundal, he has shark-shaped earrings, beautiful ears, Rajat Kapol, very effulgent forehead, very beautiful effulgent smile. The smile of the Lord is the most attractive part. He has manifested his smile to attract everyone. Nitya Utsava, it is an eternal festival for the eyes. And nobody gets satisfied seeing the beauty of Krishna. Krishnanga lavanyapur madhur hoite sumadhur tate mukha sudhakar madhur hoite sumadhur taha hoite sumadhur tarayai smita jyotsna bhar. Krishnanga, the body of Krishna is a city of beauty. And the most beautiful part of this city is the lotus face of Krishna. In this lotus face of Krishna, the most beautiful is the smile of Krishna. So that's how, a devotee, although he lives life like an ordinary person, he also goes to job, or he's also or she's also maintaining home, studying, whatever. The 100 years they pass on for a devotee also and a non-devotee also. As Prahlad Maharaj is describing in this verse, and the previous verses it described how 50 years are wasted in sleeping. Then childhood, then boyhood, and only too few years are remaining. And that too is gone in so many responsibilities. Shukdev Goswami describes in the second canto. What is the difference? What is the difference between a materialist and a spiritualist? Both are dying, both grow old, both become diseased. But what is the difference? The difference is a devotee is coming closer to the eternal life. He's not coming closer to death. Ayuraharti vai pumsa mudyamastancha yannasau itasyirte yachanau nitau uttama shloka vartaya. Uttama shloka vartaya. With every rising and setting of the sun, the life duration is decreasing. But a devotee, he is coming closer to the eternal life. That's how a devotee spends his day, months, years, and life. Absorbed in Krishna. Then we are not coming closer to death, we are coming closer to eternal life. Otherwise, Bhagavatam again and again describes the fallacy of this material life, materialistic life, a God unconscious life, and what a devotee should focus on. Prabhupada writes in this purport, from the very beginning of life, those who are ajitendriya, who cannot control their senses, they are educated only for sense gratification. All our scientific advancement, all the universities, they are teaching this only. What scriptures they call as avidya. Srila Prabhupada would call modern universities as slaughterhouses. They slaughter our spiritual propensity. But unfortunately, we have to get this knowledge also. And Ishopanishad describes that we should get, because this gives our daily bread. Vidyam cha avidyam cha yastad vedu ubhayam saha. No vidya also and avidya also. But unfortunately, people, they focus only on avidya. That means the knowledge of this world. We don't focus on actual knowledge. And that's what keeps one in ignorance. Srila Prabhupada would tell all the knowledge of this world is craftsmanship. It is not knowledge. It is the skills we are learning. What is actually knowledge? Bhagavad Gita describes 13th chapter, 8, 9, 10, and 11. These four verses describe what is knowledge. Krishna describes the 20 points of knowledge in these four verses. It begins with amanitvam, adambhitvam, ahimsa, shanti, arjavam. It goes on. Feeling humble, peaceful, giving respect to others. So many things are described. And then in the end, Krishna says, Etad jnanam iti proktam. All these are knowledge. Apart from that, whatever we hear, whatever we learn, it is all avidya. Brahmaji, when he created the various species of life, the first thing which he created was ignorance. Agyan, Moha, Mahamoha, Tamishra, Andhatamishra, all these things were created. And this ignorance, it really covers our consciousness. And in that ignorant condition, a living entity forgets that I am a part and parcel of the Lord. I am supposed to develop my connection with the Lord. And we run after the things of the world and people of the world. And we never get satisfied. We never, we are never satisfied with whatever we get in this world. We always live in the future tense. Nowadays in India, those who have been to India recently, nowadays people, they wear the t-shirts, and in that it is written apna time aayega. In English it means our time will come. We always live in this thought process. Our time will come. Apna time aayega. So somebody sent me a nice, joke. When we are 18 years of old, we are thinking, okay, our time will come. Apna time aayega. Then at 30 years of age, we are still thinking, apna time aayega. Our time will come. Then we were 50 years and children are growing up and our time is not coming. Apna time to aa hi nahi raha hai. And then 60 years, one day we had pain in the heart and went to the hospital and doctors told, please call all his relatives because inka time aa gaya hai. His time has come. So that's how the life goes by. We always live in the future tense. We don't realize time is ticking. With every rising and setting of the sun, we are coming closer to death. But as a spiritual practitioner, we should learn to come close to Krishna. We have to remind ourselves again and again. Otherwise, the illusion is so strong. We forget this. Or we don't take it so seriously. Even if we don't forget it, we don't take it so seriously. Time is going by. Just like the story of Lala Babu, some of you must have heard. He was a rich landlord in Bengal. One day in the evening time, he was returning from his work. There were few ladies who were drawing water from the well. And one of the ladies said, please come, please do quickly. Sun is setting, time is passing. And these two statements hit this person very strongly. She understood time is passing by. My life is decreasing. He left everything, went to Vrindavan, become a saint. Every one of us, we may not do this in the same way as Lala Babu did, but as Srila Prabhupada describes in the purport, we should train ourselves in the perfect renounced order internally. As a vanaprastha, we cannot go to the forest in this age, but we can develop feelings of renunciation inside. That is what is expected from a spiritual practitioner. Otherwise, a desire will never go. Time destroys everything, but time cannot destroy one thing. Time cannot destroy desires. Time cannot destroy false ego. It's the thickest, toughest material to get destroyed. Nayatra kala. You cannot destroy, the kal cannot destroy false ego. That's what Gajendra prays. After he is caught up in the jaws of crocodile, praying to the Lord. And actually, he became self-realized at that point of time. In one of the prayers, he says, "Oh, my Lord, I don't want to get liberated from the clutches of this crocodile. I want to be liberated from this body. This body of mine, which is full of ignorance. An elephant body is more ignorant. Time can destroy everything, but not false ego. जिजीविषेणाहमिह मुया किम् अन्तर्बहिष्यावृतये भयोन्य इच्छामि कालेन नयस्य विप्लव तस्यात्मलोकावर्णयस्य मोक्षम्. Oh my Lord, jijivishe na aham. I don't want to live any longer. I am covered inside also with ignorance, outside also this body of elephant is dull body. Antar bahishya bhayonya. Kalena, in due course of time, everything is destroyed. Ye nahi, one thing is not destroyed, that is ego. Ichhami kalena nayasya viplava, nayasya viplava. One thing is not destroyed. Therefore, please destroy this false ego. Destroy this desire to lord it over the material nature. That is very important prayer to make. That is how we understand that this process of Krishna consciousness which is given, this is the only thing which will cut our desires. Bhagavatam has the desire to, has the power to cut the toughest element of the material nature, that is false ego. That false ego cannot be cut by time. Bhagavatam can cut this thick false ego, which is so very powerful. And Lord is equally working to cut our false ego. As soon as he thinks this person is coming to me, he creates all the facilities. He creates everything so that living entity can come close to him. And the more we get purified, the more we will not spend our time in getting the things of the world. We'll spend our time developing our connection with the Supreme Lord. That's what Narad Muni tells to Vyasdev in the first canto, 5th chapter. One should not endeavor for anything which is there in these 14 planetary systems. One should endeavor only for that which is not available here, and that is relation with the Supreme Lord. Tasyeva heto prayatet kovido na labhyate yat bhramatam uparyadaha Please don't endeavor for that which is available in the 14 planetary systems. Prahlad Maharaj, he told in the previous verses, in all the species of life, living entity gets a enjoyment. Particular type of enjoyment one experiences in every species of life. Narakasthopi deham vai na pumam tyaktumichati. Even if one gets a hellish body, one doesn't want to leave. Please, oh my friends, tat prayaso na kartavyo yatha ayu vaya param na tatha vindate shemam mukunda charanambujam. Please don't endeavor for anything of the world. Please endeavor for developing attachment for Mukunda Charanambujam. And that will come by the sincere practice of Krishna consciousness. Sincere means attentive practice with attentive desires. That shows our sincerity. Sincerity is not which is just an emotion which is there in the heart. No, it is a practical manifestation of how we are taking to Krishna consciousness, how attentive we are in our practice of Krishna consciousness. That, that describes how serious we are, how attentive we are. That decides all these things. So that's why in these verses, Prahlad Maharaj, he is very beautifully describing how a devotee should be careful of not wasting a single moment. Rupa Goswami describes in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, one of the qualities of a devotee is avyartha kalatvam. That means not wasting time. And especially in this world full of distractions, we have to be really careful how we are spending our time. Where are we putting our energy? What are we hearing? What are we seeing? In this world of social media and news and advertisements, it is so very easy to get distracted. Please understand that we have less time with us. As this verse says very graphically, a person doesn't realize that time has passed by. Prahlad Maharaj is saying, in such a madman's life, the remaining years are also wasted. Can you imagine? Any person who is absorbed in family life, Bhagavatam calls him a madman. Why madman? Rishabdev also tells, Nunam pramattaha kurute vikarma yadindriya preetaya prinoti pramatta prakrishta rupena matta. Matlab completely mad. Why? What is so wrong in maintaining family and spending our time and energy in that? Because the mad person doesn't realize all his activities are of no value. Even if a mad person is busy doing such intense thing, he thinks which is very, very important. But an intelligent person will think foolish thing. He is doing something foolish. He's just wasting the time. That's how Krishna, when he sees how these people, they are foolishly wasting their time. Some of us must have taken our kids on sea beach, and the children, what they do when they go on the sea beach, they start making castles out of sand. And then sometimes the wave of the ocean comes and washes away the castles. And when the castle is washed away, the children, they start crying. And can anyone tell me, when the children, they start crying, seeing their castle washed away, what is the first response of the parents? What are the various expressions, various feelings parents have when they see, Arey, it is so sad, entire castle is washed away. It is very, very important to analyze the emotions of the parents, how they express, when they see, yes, thank you, Mataji. They they laugh at it, and okay, then say, okay, build it again. Yes, that is also there. They say like that. But the first thing which comes in the mind is, why is he taking it so seriously, right? Why are you crying for small things? Well, that's the feeling which comes in the parent's heart. He's crying for small things. Anyways, you are building castles on the beach, on the seashore with sand. That means it'll get washed away for sure, right? It will not last long. But scriptures, they describe all our castles which we make in our life, the big, big buildings, big, big plans. We don't realize that time will wash off everything. Nothing will stay. As this verse describes, Prahlad Maharaj is telling, in such a madman's life, the remaining years are also wasted because he doesn't engage in devotional service. We have to be really careful that we have received this most wonderful process. This is like once in a lifetime of Brahma opportunity, once in a day of Brahma opportunity. We are so fortunate. We just celebrated Gaur Purnima. Mahaprabhu has come to give us the highest. Hena prema Sri Chaitanya dila jatha tatha Jagai madhai paryant aner ka katha. He gave love of God to Jagai Madhai also, without thinking whether he is qualified or not. Ei gupta bhava sindhu brahma na pae kabindhu hena dhana bilaila samsare. Aiche dayalu avatar aiche data nahiyar gun keha nare varni bare. This most confidential love of God, gupta bhava, even Brahma cannot understand. Brahma napa ekabindu. And Mahaprabhu is distributing it like water. He is distributing nectar like water. Who can be most merciful than Mahaprabhu? Aiche Dayalu Avatar, Aiche Data Nahiyar. You will not find anyone more merciful, more charitable. How we should take it? How we should be careful not to waste even a second. It is so very sad, even in devotee community. Devotees, they spend so much of the time on cricket, news, politics, political information, not realizing that none of it is actually relevant for us. None of it will help us in the long run. And that's what Prahlad Maharaj is telling here. 50 years gone in sleeping, 20 years in playing, 20 years in old age, and just 10 years are gone remaining. If we spend those 10 years also in things which are not essential, which will not help us, who can be a more mad person? That's why Nunam Pramatta, certainly mad. This is a very, very important thing. These instructions of Prahlad Maharaj, they are really, really important for a spiritual practitioner. It is not just for new people. Oh, yeah, I have heard this many times. No, the problem is our Maya makes us forget that when temptation comes in front of us. The more we absorb ourselves in Krishna Katha, in Krishna Nam, the more we will be able to resist the temptations. Chaitanya Charan Prabhu makes a very wonderful statement. He says, to the extent Krishna is in the foreground of our consciousness when we are doing the direct activities, of Krishna consciousness. To that extent, Krishna will be in the background of our consciousness when we are doing indirect activities of Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, if we are not attentive during direct activities, Krishna will not be in the background of our consciousness. Krishna will be out of the ground. That's a typical way of, Prabhuji, he makes such wonderful statements. So the more we are keeping Krishna in the foreground of our consciousness, the more we are alert, the more we are aware that this is the most important thing. It's like when we begin our day by chanting, one of the things, one of the affirmations, one of the uh, things which we should tell our mind is, this is the most important activity of my day. This will only help me. And we should pray to Lord, pray to Harinam Prabhu, pray to our mind, pray to our tongue. Please chant. Jihve pibasvamritametadev Govind Damodar Madhaveti. Bilmangal Thakur tells. He makes a prayer to the tongue. Can you imagine? Please chant my tongue. Please drink this nectar of Harikatha. Otherwise, our tongue is like a desert. Kaviraj Goswami describes in the first chapter of the Adi Leela. Very beautiful analogy he makes. Krishna Kirtana Gana Naratana Kala Patho Jani Bhrajita Sadbhakta Valihamsa Chakra Madhupa Shreni Viharaspadam Karunanandi Kaladhvanirvahatu me Jihvamaru Prangani Shri Chaitanya Dayanidhe Tavalasan Leela Sudha Swardhuni. Beautiful description. How a devotee practices bhakti. Krishna Kirtana, Gana, Nartan, Krishna's name, form, pastimes, activities, they are nectar. They are river of nectar. They are ocean of nectar. And in this river of nectar, there are various birds you'll find. Who are these birds? Sadbhaktavali. You will find a row of beautiful devotees. And these devotees are like swan, like chakravaka, like honeybees. Sadbhaktavali hamsa chakra madhupa. They are like swan. They are like chakravaka. They are like honeybee. Swan, it has a very peculiar feature. The swan likes to eat the soft stem of the lotus flowers. Krishna's pastimes are like lotus flowers. The stem of the lotus flower is very soft, very sweet. A devotee should make his mind like a swan. And please taste this nectar of Harikatha. That's what Chaitanya Charitamrita describes. Chakravak is not satisfied by any water. That bird waits for a long time and is only satisfied with the rainwater. A devotee is not satisfied by anything but Krishna Katha. Nayatra Vaikunta Katha. If there is no Vaikunta Katha going on, I don't want to go to heaven also. And then devotees are like honeybees. There's a difference between honeybee and housefly. Housefly, even if you put a housefly in the midst of a flower garden, it will find a place somewhere in the corner which has some garbage, and it will land on that only. But the devotee is like a honeybee. Even if you put a honeybee in the midst of a garbage bin, garbage dump yard, Honey will find one flower somewhere in the corner. It'll land there. This world is like a garbage bin full of nonsense talks. All the talks which are of no use, which will not help us. They always stink. The devotee tries to find where is the flower of Krishna Katha available and lands there only. And then Kaviraj Goswami says, Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Kala Patho Jani Bhrajita Sadbhakta Valiham Chakra Madhupa Shreni Viharaspradam Karnanandi Kala Dhvani Vahatu Me Jihava Maru Prangane. Beautiful analogy he is making here. Our tongue, it is like a desert. And if you want to transform desert into a fertile land, you cannot do it by few buckets of water. It requires a river. Our tongue, it is desert. Since millions of lifetimes, we have not experienced this nectar of Harikatha. Only this river of Harikatha can transform our tongue like desert-like tongue. Jihava Maru Prangani. If you allow the river of Krishna Katha to enter our ears, and if we allow our tongue to recite Harikatha, chant the names of the Lord, gradually but surely, our tongue will get transformed from a desert-like situation to a beautiful flower garden. Shri Chaitanya Dayanidhe Tavalasa Leela Sudha Swaradhuni. Mahaprabhu's pastimes are like that. It is our fortunate situation. We are getting a chance to hear, to read the pastimes of Mahaprabhu, which are the most munificent pastimes, which are not available anywhere else. We are getting a chance to read beautiful pastimes of Bhagavatam. Srinivas Thakur, he had to suffer and struggle so much to get a copy of Bhagavatam and to understand Bhagavatam. He wanted to hear from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but Mahaprabhu told, you learn from Nityananda Prabhu. He left. Then Nityananda Prabhu left. Then he went to Gadadhar Pandit in Jagannath Puri. Gadadhar Pandit said, I am crying in separation from Mahaprabhu. I can teach you, but the problem is, because of my tears, all these pages of Bhagavatam, they are washed. The ink is washed away. Can you get a copy of Bhagavatam? He walks all the way from Jagannath Puri to Navadvip, copies the Bhagavatam set, brings it back. As soon as he reaches Jagannath Puri, he realizes Gadadhar Pandit is also gone. He's devastated. Gadadhar Pandit comes in the dream and says, please go to Vrindavan. Rup Sanatan Goswami are there, they'll teach you. Walks all the way from Jagannath Puri to Vrindavan. On the outskirts of Vrindavan, he sees people coming, crying, wailing. What happened? Oh, you don't know? Sanatan Goswami left. Rup Goswami left. He fainted. Rup Goswami came in the dream. Please go to Jiva Goswami. He will teach you Bhagavatam. Then he came to Jiva Goswami and then he learned Bhagavatam. It is so very rare. And for us, it is easily available. We have hundreds of devotees speaking about Bhagavatam. Many devotees speaking about Chaitanya Charitamrita. Kaviraj Goswami has written such wonderful literature, Chaitanya Charitamrita, at the ripe old age. Why? Kaviraj Goswami writes, यही अंत्य लीला सार सूत्र मध्य विस्तार करी किच्छु करिलु विवरण इहा मध्य मरि जाबे वर्णिते न पारितबे एई लीला भक्त गण धन. Very beautifully he's saying. He says, you know what he does, Kaviraj Goswami, what he does? He summarizes entire Anta Leela in the beginning of the Madhya Leela. Why? He's giving the reason. Ei Anta Leela Sar Sutra Madhya Visatar. I have described the synopsis of Anta Leela in the Madhya Leela. You know why? Because I am old. Kari Kichu Kari Lu Vivran. I have described a little bit because you know what? Iha Madhya Marijabe. If I die in between, how will devotees hear the pastimes of Mahaprabhu? Iha madhye mari jabe, varnitena paritabe. I'll not be able to describe the beautiful pastimes of Lord Sri Chaitanya. Ei Leela Bhakta Ganadhan. He says these pastimes are the treasure of devotees. Our acharyas have struggled so much to give us the treasure. Ami vriddha jaratur likhite ka paikar, mane kichu smarane na hoy. ना देखिए नयने ना सुनिए श्रवणे तबु लिखिए बड़ा विस्मय. I am old, I cannot see anything, I cannot hear properly, I cannot write, my hands are trembling. Still I am writing. It is so very amazing. संक्षेपे सूत्र कोइला एई इहा नाली खिला आगे तहा करीब विस्तार यदि तत दिन जिए महाप्रभुर कृपा होए इच्छा भरी करीब विचार. Can you imagine the eagerness of Kaviraj Goswami to write about it, write the wonderful pastimes of Mahaprabhu? He is telling, if I live, I'll write more. That's why I'm writing in brief all this. Our acharyas have really struggled to give us this. It is not an ordinary thing. So it is our responsibility to reciprocate. Of course, we cannot pay back. If Bhagavatam describes that if somebody thinks that he can pay off the debt, he becomes a joker. We cannot repay the debt we owe to our Guru Parampara. We cannot even imagine what Krishna is doing for us. Bhagavatam describes, even if one gets the life of Brahma, even if one is a wonderful poet, still one cannot express the gratitude properly. What we can do, at least begin and do whatever is possible to express that gratitude. And all the descriptions of Bhagavatam in this verse and previous verses, Prahlad Maharaj is reminding us we have less time available with us. Learn to be grateful. A life of gratitude is very important for whatever our acharyas have given us, whatever Srila Prabhupada has given us, whatever our current acharya vrind is giving us. A life of gratitude is very essential. That makes our heart a fertile ground in which the seeds of Bhaktilata will grow very quickly. Otherwise, Jihva Maru Prangane, our tongue and our heart is like a desert. How will the seed of devotion grow? The more we are grateful, the more we are absorbing ourselves in Krishna Katha, the more the seed will grow fast. Otherwise, devotees after years of practicing think, I don't know whether I'm advancing or not. Still have same desires. I think the sense gratification desire is increasing. Of course, out of humility, we may understand, we may think like that. But in our hearts, we should know that, yes, I'm experiencing some transformation. I think everyone here will vouch for it that after many years of practicing, we're experiencing something in our life which we were not experiencing previously. some experience of Krishna in whatever way. That has to happen. If that is not happening, there is some problem somewhere in our practice. Bhakti pareshanubhavo virakti anyatra chaisha trikaeka kala prapadyamanasya yathashnatasyu tushti pushti kshutapayo nughasam. When we start eating, three things happen simultaneously. Tushti, we feel satisfied. Pushti, we feel nourished. And Shut Apayo Anughasam, with every morsel of food, our hunger decreases. Similarly, when we practice this Krishna consciousness, three things happen simultaneously. It should happen. Bhakti, the sentiments of devotion increase in our hearts. Par Ish Anubhav, we develop experience of Krishna. Virakti, we get detached from the material world. So all these things should happen in our life. If that is not happening, that means there is some problem somewhere. And of course, it happens. All we have to do is introspect and write down how this is happening in my life. Many times we become so morose, so dejected because of our anarthas, because we don't think what we have received in our life. We feel dissatisfied not when we see what we don't have, but when we don't see what we have. Another very wonderful statement by Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. I'll repeat. We feel dissatisfied not when we see what we don't have, but when we don't see what we have. Please try to count our fortunes. Then we will feel happy about ourselves. That is the process of Krishna consciousness. Counting our fortunes, being grateful to Krishna. Otherwise, material energy, Maya Devi will always tell us, it is not for you. You won't be able to succeed. You are so fallen. You are duplicitous. You are making a show. We have to count our fortunes. Don't listen to the sound and the voice of Maya Devi. Hear Krishna. Hear what our acharyas are telling, what assurance they are giving. We are really fortunate. यूयं निलोके बत भूरि भागा लोकं पुनाना मुनयो भियन्ति येषां गृहाणा वसतीति साक्षात् गूढं परं ब्रह्म मानुष्यलिङ्गम्. After Prahlad Maharaj, after Narad Muni describes the story of Prahlad to Yudhishthir Maharaj is thinking, wow, such a great devotee Prahlad is. Lord personally appeared for him in such a wonderful form. And I am such an insignificant person. Will the Lord appear for me? Narad Muni tells, can you imagine? Can you understand your fortune, Yudhishthir Maharaj? You are the most fortunate in this entire human society. Yuyam niloke bat bhuri bhaga. How you are fortunate? Great sages, rishis, they are doing tapasya for many, many lives. They are not able to see the tip of the toe of Krishna. Yesham grihana vasatiti sakshat. That same Supreme Lord is staying in your house. In the human form, Gudham Param Brahma Manushya Lingam. He's becoming your chariot driver, your messenger, your protector, your everything. Isn't it fortune? So it is our fortune. We have to count our fortune. We have to be aware. Time is less. As Prahlad is saying, please don't waste time. We have less time and we have received a wonderful treasure. Please protect it, keep it with us. That is our job. And be grateful for whatever we have received. I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Any questions anybody has?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranam. Very, very interesting class. Thank you so much for reminding us again that just because we are in the process doesn't mean that we are safe. We need to continue practicing very, very rigorously. Sri Isho Panishad Mataji has a question. Hare Krishna Mataji, you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Jai, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams. Thank you
Hare
so
Krishna.
very much. I don't have a question. I just wanted to reflect. And thank you for just bringing to the attention about counting our blessings and that beautiful pastime about how was that Kaviraj Goswami, did you say? Every time he wanted to be share of the
Srinivas Acharya. Yeah.
Srinivas.
You're good.
Srinivas, sorry, yes, I did. Wonderful, wonderful. What a mood of being grateful. just so very grateful. Thank you so very much for sharing that. It's very enthusiastic and encouraging me to want to just be better, do better. Haribo, Hare Krishna.
Need your blessing so that I can also follow. You know, speaking is one thing. With all your blessings, I'll also be able to follow. So this knowledge will go from head to heart. Thank you,
Jai.
Mataji. Thank you. Hare
Jai
Krishna.
Haribo, Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Haribo.
Hare Krishna, Shivakumar Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams Prabhuji. Thank you so much for your class. As usual, very insightful Prabhuji. Gives a lot of inspiration for us to continue sadhana. Prabhuji, one question. One of the challenges that I personally face, Prabhuji, is the lack of external reciprocation, Prabhu, as part of my sadhana seems to be the straining point. So I just wanted to understand from you, Prabhu, should I just be contented with the internal changes that I am going through? And kind of how can we positively look at the lack of external reciprocation while I kind of struggle in my sadhana?
Yes, this is very important question, Prabhuji, because many times as a practicing sadhaka, we feel that Krishna is not reciprocating because problems are coming in my life. I'm not developing a taste for Krishna katha. Interestingly, it is the other way around. When problem comes in the life of a devotee, we should be very sure that Krishna is reciprocating, because it is not just a matter of a thought process, it is a fact. Whenever anything happens in the life of a devotee, it is Krishna's personal intervention, either good thing or a bad thing. That is how we have to train our consciousness. When good things are happening, it is easy to thank Krishna. Of course, from there we have to begin. Thank Krishna for good things which are happening in our life. But as our years are passing by, we should try to be grateful for those things which are apparently bad. Understanding that Krishna has planned them for my advancement. So that if we are in that consciousness, we will see our consciousness going to the next level. Because problems and the disturbances, they really make us strong. more stronger than the happiness. Happiness makes us weaker many times. But the problems, the disturbing situations, they make us stronger. We learn to become a better version of ourselves. We learn to dedicate ourselves more to the process. And all of us have experienced this. When we are in difficult situations, how sincere, how attentive, how serious we are in our practice, how we are prayerful. We have to understand and we have to remember this. Problems, Krishna is reciprocating. Of course, good things, Krishna is reciprocating for sure. But the problems, Krishna is reciprocating equally. And we should never feel that we are not advancing. Out of humility, we can say that, but we should always give the credit of whatever advancement we have done to our Guru Parampara. Rather than saying I have not advanced, but if we look back the day we began and the day up today, have we advanced a little bit? If yes, please give credit to Guru Parampara. That will make us more advanced. Rather than focusing on the anarthas we have, rather than focusing on the conditionings we have and thinking I am not so advanced, still fallen, focus on the good things we have received in our life and be grateful for that. Of course, that does not mean that we will not work on our anarthas and conditionings, but that should not occupy our consciousness much. What is the easiest way to replace the dirty water which is there in a glass without, if you can't turn the glass down and empty the contents, how one can remove the contents of a glass? Can anyone tell me? If the glass is full of dirty water and we have to remove it and we
By
can't turn
filling
it
with
down.
fresh waters. By filling fresh
Yes,
water more and more.
yes, thank you. Yes, Sundara Mata is also telling this.
Hare Krishna.
Rather than focusing on our bad things, dirty things, try to fill in our consciousness with Krishna. We have to focus on that. Rather than attempting to clean our mind, or should the Harikatha in the mind. Naturally, the dirty water, all the contaminations will go away. And we have to do it little strongly. If you put little bit of the pure water in that glass of dirty water, it will not get cleansed. That's what many times devotees think. Devotees experience. I am chanting since so many years, attending Bhagavatam also, doing seva also. Still, I think no purification is happening. We are putting a drop, it seems. That means we are not putting our heart in our chanting. We are not putting our heart in our seva, in our Bhagavatam. How the heart will get cleansed? So that's how we have to be always aware, alert, hopeful. Ashabandha. Avashya Rakshibe Krishna iti Vishwasa Palan. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for the detailed answer. I'm making a note of it. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Do you have time for one more question?
We can.
Okay, Ananga Kishori Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Danvat Pranam. Prabhu, you mentioned about avyarta kalatvam and how it's important to effectively manage your time so that we can get more time to hear and chant. And I watch these videos on how to improve your productivity, reduce your sleeping hours. Even like somebody like Sadhguru, that famous yogi from South, he also like says that he sleeps only for 4 hours. But I don't know why, as although we are practicing Hare Krishnas, that sense control of reduced sleeping and very disciplined eating doesn't happen as much as we want it. We want that to reflect in our lifestyle, but that kind of very disciplined eating, sleeping doesn't happen. So, what I mean, how do we achieve it?
First of all, we don't have to go to any other places to hear about how to practice Krishna consciousness in a better way. Because many times in the pursuit of getting good things from other places, we get affected by their philosophy as well. Secondly, we should not be impatient in our practice of Krishna consciousness. Prematurely trying to come to the level where we are not, it will bounce back. It will affect us. It happens gradually, it happens automatically. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janayati Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayad Ahaitukam. Krishna tells in Bhagavatam, describes, Sud Goswami says, anybody who is practicing Krishna consciousness, automatically that person develops renunciation and knowledge. That is the automatic outcome. We don't have to endeavor separately for these things. We don't have to endeavor separately for getting renounced, sleeping less, eating less. No, eat whatever is needed. Sleep whatever is needed. Yukta ahar, yukta vihar, yukta swapna. Artificially, we should not do this. Health will go down. A time will come as we practice Krishna consciousness, naturally we will feel an inclination for doing it. Now we are doing it artificially just because we have heard we have to sleepless, nidra, har, vihar, kadi, vijitao. But it does not happen artificially. What we have to focus on is not on the externals of Krishna consciousness. Externals means sleeping less, and eating less. No, we have to focus on chanting more. We have to focus on praying more, reading more. And naturally, other things will go down. We should not be so much obsessed by other things. Oh, I'm not able to sleep less. I am sleeping 6 hours a day or 7 hours a day. It is needed. Please don't think if I'll sleep less, I'll become an advanced devotee quickly. No. It will just affect the health many times. A devotee means a balanced person doing same things regularly over a period of long interval. That is difficult in Kali Yuga. To keep doing same things is difficult. Krishna is not pleased by some artificial endeavors to renounce the world. Krishna is pleased by our consistent endeavors to please him. We don't have to renounce the world artificial. It will happen automatically. So all these things, eating less, sleeping less, oh, don't worry about all that. Focus on chanting more, being attentive more, to serve more, to read more, in right consciousness. That is what we should be concerned about. And we don't have to hear anyone else. We have to be really careful as practicing Krishna conscious devotees. We have to be loyal to our parampara, not hearing from anyone else. Thinking that I'll get something good from other people. No. Even if we think that they are giving something good, many times we are not so mature as to not get affected by their philosophy. Prabhupada would quote this, Amidhyat kanchanam grahyam. One can accept gold even from a filthy place. But if we are not expert in the attempt to get gold, we will land up with a handful of dirt and no gold. We have to be really careful whom we are listening to. Prabhupada has given everything. So try to stick to the principles given by Prabhupada. In Bhagavad Gita, in Srimad Bhagavatam, we don't have to go anywhere to learn these principles. That is very important. Hare Krishna. Any last question?
Hare Krishna. I don't see any more raised hands, Prabhuji, but thank you so much for such a practical answer to this question. It was wonderful. There are many realizations, and a lot of devotees would like to thank you for this beautiful session. Prabhuji, we have no more questions, so we will wind up our talk. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya
Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Krishna Prabhupada
Okay,
Jai, Jai.
Jai.
Prabhu ki Jai, Ki Jai.
Jai.
Sanga Japa
Thank
Group.
you.
Gauranga,
Jai.
Gauranga,
Gauranga
Gauranga,
Nanda.
Gauranga.